So Lisa was mentioning about expenditures. So from the original forecast, it's up about 1.3 million, or about 2% from what we presented in March. There's three main reasons behind it. There were some other ins and outs, but these are kind of the main reasons. We have debt service on, we basically did a retrofit here of City Hall, and that was refinanced in 2002. What happened was in 2009, the former city manager had made a decision at that time to use some one-time debt service reserves to make the payments on those bonds for both 2009 and 2010. Unfortunately, when they did the forecast for 10-11, that was omitted. We needed to start making general fund payments again on those bonds. So that was actually omitted. It should have been also in the 10-11 budget, but the full amount of 827 has to be in our 11-12 budget. So that's about over 800,000. The second part has to do with the library. The library is basically, it's partially funded with a property tax that was passed by voters to fund two things, basically, debt service on bonds that was used to construct the new library and improvements on the two branch libraries, and then also to basically assist in funding the operations of the library. So right now, these taxes pay for about 1.6 million of that total. The rest is funded by the general fund. The general fund contribution had only been budgeted at about 1.7 million when it should have been about 2.2 million. So, I mean, as you can see, that's a very significant difference. In the 10-11 budget, the library fund actually was projected to have a negative ending fund balance. The library fund is a special revenue fund, but it's a little bit different from most of our other special revenue funds. It's an ongoing operational fund, and you can't maintain a deficit fund balance ongoing in that type of fund. So really, there's only two sources of revenue for this type of activity, either basically through the passage of a tax, which we've done, or through general fund support. So this basically brings the library fund back, so it has I think there's a very little minor fund balance in there, but that's just from contributions made by the donors, you know, the library and stuff like that. But basically, it's just to bring it back pretty much to a zero fund balance level. The other item is we have a fleet maintenance internal service fund. This is funded primarily by the general fund, but it's also funded by some other funds as well too. This fund, again, unfortunately, was going in the negative in 10-11 and was actually going to, if we didn't take any action, was going to result in a negative fund balance in 11-12. And again, that's a violation of that kind of policy. When it's for ongoing maintenance, you can't have a deficit fund balance in that kind of fund. So this basically is a required contribution from the general fund. So.